Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Maldives launches India's RuPay card. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Mohammad Muizzu witnessed the first transaction using the Indian payment service. All preparations in place for Tuesday's counting of votes in the Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana elections. And Monday marks 1 year since the Hamas terror attacks in Israel. Israelis wait for release of hostages from Gaza. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Maldivian President Mohammad Muizzu met in India's capital, New Delhi, on Monday. The two leaders held extensive discussions to further deepen ties on a range of areas, including development partnership, energy, trade, financial linkages, and defense cooperation. The two leaders witnessed the exchange of several MOUs in the area of combating corruption, judiciary, and youth and sports. Addressing a press meeting with President Muizzu, Prime Minister Modi underscored that India is Maldives' closest neighbor and friend and holds important place in neighborhood first policy and Sagar outlook. The Prime Minister noted that India has always played the role of first responder for Maldives.
सदियों पुराने हैं और भारत मालदीव का सबसे करीबी पड़ोसी और घनिष्ठ मित्र देश है। हमारी नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसी और सागर विजन ने मालदीव का महत्वपूर्ण स्थान है इन दोनों में। भारत ने सदैव मालदीव के लिए फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर की भूमिका निभाई है, चाहे मालदीव के लोगों के लिए एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज की जरूरत पूरा करना हो, प्राकृतिक आपदा के समय पीने का पानी उपलब्ध कराना हो, कोविड के समय वैक्सीन देने की बात हो। भारत ने हमेशा अपने पड़ोसी होने के दायित्व को निभाया है।
Maldivian President Mohammad Muizzu thanked Prime Minister Modi and the people for their support, noting that India is a crucial partner for Maldives' infrastructure development. President Muizzu said he looked forward to concluding a free trade agreement with India.
We look forward to concluding the free trade agreement with India, which will enable us to harness the full economic potential between our countries and to increase Indian investments in both our tourism and various sectors of development.
The Maldives on Monday introduced India's RuPay payment service. Prime Minister Modi and President Muizzu witnessed the first such transaction. Prime Minister Modi and President Muizzu inaugurated a new runway at Honeymadhu Airport in Maldives. The inauguration of the Honeymadhu International Airport runway, funded by a $132 million Indian line of credit, marks a significant step in enhancing bilateral ties. India has handed over 700 social housing units built under Exim Bank's Buyers Credit Facility. The handover of the housing units in Hulumale Phase 2 will further deepen the partnership, acting as a pivotal moment in the relationship between the two nations. Briefing media about the delegation-level talks between PM Narendra Modi and the President of Maldives, Dr. Mohammad Muizzu, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that the relationship between the two countries is historic, which has been built by people-to-people connect.
Maldives has always been a key part, an integral part of India's neighborhood first policy and our vision for Sagar, security and growth for all in the region. The relationship is historic. It's been underpinned by very close people-to-people relations, by trade and economic relations, and by a very, very substantive developmental partnership between the two countries.
The Foreign Secretary said that India has always fulfilled its responsibility of a neighbor and stood by Maldives as the first responder in any crisis.
India has also, very importantly, been the first responder to any crisis in Maldives. Whether it be the attempted coup in 1988, the tsunami in 2004, the Malay water crisis in 2014, or indeed the COVID-19 pandemic a few years ago.
The Foreign Secretary said that the vision document agreed by both sides is a blueprint for a relationship that will go on for many years.
This is a blueprint for relations that has been charted out for the next several years and provides a framework for the ongoing visit. The document also aims to bring together the objectives for India's own development as have been set out under the Viksit Bharat 2047 plan and Maldives' own action plan and objectives to become a developed country by 2040.
Maldivian President Mohammad Muizzu, who is on a state visit to India, was accorded a ceremonial welcome and guard of honor at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan earlier today. President Muizzu was accompanied by First Lady Sajida Mohammed and a Maldivian delegation. President Draupadi Murmu welcomed the visiting dignitaries at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was also present on the occasion. Maldivian President Mohammad Muizzu laid a wreath and paid homage to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat in New Delhi. His wife Sajida Mohammed was also with him. The President also signed the visitors' book kept there. Right, moving on, counting for the recently held assembly elections in North Indian state of Haryana and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir will be held on Tuesday. The Election Commission of India has made elaborate arrangements for counting of votes in Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir. The single-phase polling for 9 assembly constituencies in Haryana was held on October 5th across more than 20,000 polling stations and recorded a final voter turnout of 65.65%. Elections in Jammu and Kashmir were held in 3 phases. The first phase of voting was held in 24 seats on September 18, while voters across 25 constituencies exercised their franchise on the 26th of September. According to the Election Commission of India, the first and second phases of polling recorded voter turnouts of 61.38% and 57.31% respectively. The third and the final phase of polling across 40 assembly constituencies on October 1st saw an overwhelming voter turnout of 69.69%. Voting for assembly polls was held in the Union Territory for the first time in 10 years. This is also the first assembly election in Jammu and Kashmir since the abrogation of Article 370, which gave the erstwhile state a special status in 2019. Jammu and Kashmir now has 90 assembly constituencies after the recent delimitation exercise. A three-tier security system has been put in place at all the counting centres in Jammu and Kashmir following the three-phased assembly election. Nearly 64% voting turnout was recorded in the election, and now all eyes will be on the counting process to find out what kind of result emerges on the 90 seats, almost all of which witnessed a multi-cornered contest. DD India's Gautam Roy has sent us this report.
This is the Sher-e-Kashmir International Conference Centre, one of the 20 counting centres which have been put in place in Jammu and Kashmir for the counting of votes on Tuesday. 90 seats in three phases went to polls here, and all the 90 seats will be counted. And for these counting of seats and votes, all the necessary security and other arrangements have been put in place. We've been informed that there's a three-tier security system involving central paramilitary forces as well as state armed police and state police, and everything will be ensured that the process of counting is free and fair and without any interference. As you can see, security personnel are already in place. The gates are shut. Only authorized personnel are allowed to have access to this place, and even media will only be allowed inside once the counting process has been initiated and not before that. A lot of anticipation is also built up in Jammu and Kashmir as far as these results are concerned. Remember, assembly elections have taken place in this region after 10 years and 5 years after the abrogation of Article 370, which gave Jammu and Kashmir a union territory status. A lot of development work is taking place in that period. There is a relative peace here as well. Tourism is heading towards its peak. So a lot of things that the people here have had to consider to really look at all their options in terms of the multiple forces, the parties, political parties and alliances which have been seeking their attention and their support. And we'll get to know the result on Tuesday. With camera person Lalit Kumar, Gautam Roy, Srinagar, DD India.
In the latest escalation of tensions in West Asia, Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel from Sunday night into Monday morning. Another barrage of Hezbollah rockets late on Sunday got past Israeli air defense systems and landed in Haifa, Israel's third largest city, causing casualties and damage to buildings. On 7th October 2023, Israel saw an attack which could not be defined in words. Raw, heinous, barbaric, still not apt. Terrorist group Hamas had entered Israel, attacked and killed the civilian population wherever they could find. People screaming, running, trying to hide. They returned to Gaza taking hostages. Terrorists entered their home, not even sparing one-year-old baby. It was not just the Israelis who reeled from shock over the unexpected attack. Take a look at Aarti Rana's report.
October 7th, 2023 will always be remembered for one of the world's deadliest terror attacks. On that day, Hamas terrorists stormed across the border from Gaza into Israel in what would become the worst attack in the country's history. At the end of the Jewish holiday of Sukkot, the terrorists launched their assault by land, air, and sea. They had actually managed to penetrate what was always thought to be a fortress with ease. A year later, the confirmed death toll from the attack, including hostages killed in captivity, has reached 1,205 on the Israeli side. Terrorists abducted 251 hostages on October 7th, 97 of whom are still captive in Gaza. 33 hostages are dead. It was the first invasion of Israeli territory since the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The governments all over the world denounced the attack and described it as terrorism, while some Arab and Muslim majority countries blamed Israel as the root cause of the attack. In the week following October 7, the Israeli Air Force dropped 6,000 bombs on Gaza. A complete siege was ordered. And by October 27th, Israel had begun a full-scale ground operation in Gaza. The impact of the conflict spread as other regional groups began attacks in what they called solidarity with the Palestinians. Houthi rebels in Yemen began launching attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea, disrupting a key global trade route. Global concerns over a wider conflict grew when a strike hit the Iranian consulate in Syria, killing 16 people. And tensions rose again when Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed in Tehran while attending the funeral of Iran's former president. By the middle of September, Israel declared a new goal of the war: to return roughly 60,000 Israeli citizens displaced due to Hezbollah rockets in the northern part of the country. Days later, a coordinated attack on Hezbollah pagers and walkie-talkies across Lebanon killed 37 and injured nearly 3,000. Bombings and air strikes across Lebanon followed, killing hundreds, including Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Iran retaliated to the killing of Nasrallah by firing hundreds of missiles into Israel. On the eve of the first anniversary of October 7th, Israeli air attacks have battered Beirut's southern suburbs in the most intense bombardment of the Lebanese capital in years. It's a year since Hamas launched an attack on Israel, catapulting the region into a war and a humanitarian crisis that threatens to engulf the region. The families of hostages have been demanding a ceasefire. The conflict is expanding, and with it, any chance of peace appears to be dwindling. Aarti Rana, DD India.
In central Haiti, over 6,000 people have fled their homes in the aftermath of an attack by heavily armed gang members that killed at least 70 people. The attack in Pont-Saint happened in the early hours of Thursday morning and left many in the middle of the night. Grand Grief gang leader Luxon Elan took responsibility for the massacre, saying that it was in retaliation for civilians remaining passive while police and vigilante groups killed his soldiers. The killings are the latest sign of a worsening conflict in Haiti, where armed gangs control most of the capital Port-au-Prince and are expanding to nearby regions, fueling hunger and making hundreds of thousands of people homeless. In Pakistan, at least 2 Chinese nationals were killed and several others injured in a massive explosion outside the Karachi airport. The Balochistan Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for the attack. In a statement, the separatist group said the attack was targeted at Chinese nationals, including engineers, and was carried out using a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif condemned the attack and vowed to ensure security for Chinese nationals. The Chinese embassy said a convoy from the Port Qasim Electric Power Company was attacked near Karachi. The attack happened late on Sunday. Still to come on DD India Live. Russia claims to have taken control of Hirodivka, a settlement in eastern Ukraine. And the US top court begins new 9-month term, set to hear cases on guns, transgender rights, online pornography, and workplace discrimination.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Russia and Ukraine carried out attacks on each other on Monday. Russia's defense ministry said its forces had taken control of Hrodivka, a settlement in the eastern Donetsk region of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Kyiv reported that its strikes on Russian energy facilities included an attack on a large oil terminal off the coast of the occupied Crimean Peninsula. Ukraine admitted that a Russian hypersonic missile struck the area of Ukraine's major Starokotsky Air Base on Monday morning after a drone and missile attack that also targeted the capital. This attack came a day after the Dutch defense minister said the Netherlands would supply Ukraine with more F-16 jets in the coming months. The U.S. top court begins its new 9-month term on Monday, set to hear cases on issues including guns, transgender rights, online pornography and workplace discrimination. The term opens with arguments on 2 cases, a procedural dispute over unemployment compensation and the jurisdiction for class action lawsuits against pet food companies. The first major case involves the Biden administration's appeal of a ruling against a regulation on ghost guns. Additionally, the court will consider Richard Glossip's request for a new trial in a murder case. Upcoming cases include a Tennessee ban on gender-affirming care for transgender minors, Mexico's lawsuit against U.S. gun companies, and a Texas law requiring age verification for pornographic websites. Heavy rainfall in central Bosnia and Herzegovina causing severe flash floods and triggered landslides that have resulted in several casualties and damages. Rescue teams from Bosnia's neighbors and European Union countries on Monday joined efforts to clear the rubble and find missing people. Jablanica town, which is located about 70 kilometers southwest of the capital Sarajevo, have suffered the worst of the flash floods in the country. U.S. scientists Victor Ambros and Gary Ruvkun won the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physiology for the discovery of microRNA and its role in gene regulation. The Nobel Assembly said in a statement that the laureates discovered the new class of tiny RNA molecules which play a crucial role in gene regulation. Their discoveries help explain how complex life emerged on Earth and how the human body is made of a wide variety of different tissues. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated Deaf Connect 4.0 in New Delhi Cantonment on Monday to promote indigenous defence innovation. The minister delivered the opening address to the gathering. The minister launched Aditi 2.0, acing development of innovative technologies. The event, organized by IDEX DIO under the Ministry of Defence, aims to bring together armed forces, defence PSUs, innovators and policymakers. It features a technology showcase, interactive sessions and discussions on recent budget announcements and semiconductor initiatives. In sports news, Indian gymnast Deepa Karmakar has announced her official retirement from professional competition on Monday. After giving 25 years to the sport, Deepa, a prominent and celebrated figure in the world of gymnastics, decided to take a step back due to the physical demands of the sport on her body. Deepa Karmakar is the first woman gymnast from India to compete at the Olympics, where she finished 4th in the vault event at the 2016 Rio Olympics. She is one of only 5 women to have successfully landed the Prodonova vault, considered one of the most difficult in gymnastics. Throughout her career, Karmakar has won bronze at the 2014 Commonwealth Games, the Asian Championships, and made history by becoming the first Indian gymnast to win a gold medal at a global event at the FIG World Challenge Cup in the year 2018. Sri Lanka Cricket Board on Monday appointed Sanath Jayasuriya as the permanent head coach of the men's team after their recent run of good form. Earlier, Jayasuriya was appointed as the interim coach after the T20 World Cup 2024 and will hold the post until March 31, 2026. Sri Lanka Cricket, in a statement, said that the executive committee made the call taking into consideration the team's recent good performances against India, England and New Zealand, where the former captain was assuming the role of head coach. The cricket board added that the appointment had already come into effect on the 1st of October. Former world number 1 Naomi Osaka has pulled out of the Japan Open because of a back injury. The 26-year-old was forced out of the China Open in Beijing after struggling with a lower back problem. Osaka is scheduled to play in the Pan-Pacific Open tennis tournaments running from October 21 to 27 in Tokyo. Four-time Grand Slam champion Osaka's last WTA tournament was on home soil in 2022. The Japan Open begins on the 14th of October. Pakistan captain Shan Masood smashed 153 and forced a 253-run partnership with fellow Centurion Abdullah Shafiq to put the hosts on course for a massive first innings total in the opening test against England. England's tired bowling attack managed to get rid of both the batters in the final session of the day, but Pakistan reached 328 for 4 at stumps, vindicating Masood's decision to bat after winning the toss. Saud Shakil was batting on a fluent 35 at stumps, with night watchman Naseem Shah yet to open his account at the other end. Atkinson claimed 2 wickets, but it was toil with little success on an unresponsive pitch for England bowlers. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. You can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen now to download it. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.